Hey, what's good everyone? Welcome back to a new video. I know I haven't posted anything in a while. I did kind of mess up my wrist a couple weeks ago. Play the clip. So yeah, as you can see, huge fail. But I did actually redeem myself. I did land it. I'll show that at the end of the video. But yeah, let's get into this tutorial. Before we get started, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Shout out to everyone who already liked the video before we even started. Make sure you follow me on Instagram as well, it's on the screen. And yeah, without any further ado, let's get started. Alright, so my last couple of videos, people have been asking me, commenting down where I get my reference images from. Well, I make them myself, and this is the process right here. So you go to a website like Photopea, which is free, it's like an online Photoshop, and then just set up your scene, so 1920 by 1080. And then we're going to go to a website like StockX, which has obviously shoes, and then select the shoe we want to use, in this case, the Jordan 1. And then we're just going to copy and paste all the different angles. So after you pasted it, you can scale it down just so it kind of fits into the page nicely. And we're going to repeat this process with every single angle that we can get. Alright, so after we've pasted everything, so we got all the angles that we can, we have to make sure that everything lines up correctly. So to do that, we're going to go and add in a rectangle. And we're going to just put this rectangle around the shoe. So one on the left side, one on the right side, and one at the top and one at the bottom. So let's just place this here. Let's move into this kind of touching the shoe almost. And then we're just going to duplicate this same line to the right and then to the top. And then make sure every single reference image we have fits inside that little box. So yeah, once you get everything lined up, you should get something like this. You can see all the reference images are all to the right scale. And then now we can get started. Alright, so once you've got Blender opened up, we're going to bring in our reference images, drag and drop, and then we're going to set them up using a cube. Alright, so let's go Shift A, we're going to bring in a cube, and then we're going to turn to wireframe mode by going down here to this little orange tab and clicking wire. We're going to make sure that all the reference images fit inside this rectangle. This will ensure that they all line up when it comes to modeling later on, which will make our life much easier. So yeah, let's get started with this outsole. I feel like that's the best place to start since it's kind of complicated. We'll have to get that done now. So let's go Shift A and we're going to bring in a circle. So once you go to circle, let's scale that down to kind of fit to the right size, I guess. Let's just, if you can't see it, just bring it up a little bit, because it might be at the same level as the reference image. So yeah, let's bring it over here and then we're going to scale it down until it fits to the right size. Alright, so let's hop into edit mode by pressing tab and then press F to make a face. And then we're just going to select this outer area here and then we're going to extrude that out. So you get something like this. And basically, I'm going to use these vertices to kind of extrude out. So let's just select two of them like so. And we're going to extrude it to make these lines going down here. So let me just reposition it and then let's extrude down like so. Rotate it. And then maybe we can scale it up a little bit. And let's just bring it out all the way to the edge. And I'm just going to repeat this for the rest of the sides. Alright, so we're going to do kind of the same thing for this other side, this little triangle area here. So let's just bring this down. And then we're going to select three of them and then extrude up and do the same thing as before. Okay, so now we need to get rid of this face because we're not really using it. So select it, delete or press X and then go to face. So now we've got something like this. Alright, so now we need to make all of these curves going out, as you can see. There's kind of two parts to it, but I'll get into that in a minute. So let's select this circle. So let's go Shift A, bring in another circle. And we're just going to scale that down. And then kind of reposition it so it fits into that outer circle, as you can see. And then with it selected, we're going to extrude it out. So press E and then scale out. And then we're just going to line it up and delete the vertices that we don't need, or the faces that we don't need. So select these three faces here and we're going to delete them, get rid of those, we don't need them. And we're going to do the same for this bottom part here. So you end up with something like this. Now let's add a loop cut right there so that we can extrude going upwards. Let's select these 2 vertices and then let's extrude up. You can kind of see what I'm getting at here already. Let's just bring this up, line up a little bit. Let's do the same for this side. Let's extrude up. Line up a bit better so you get something like this. There you go. And then we can do the exact same thing for the bottom part. Let's extrude up as well. So we're going to add in a circle, just do the other parts. And then obviously like we did before, we're going to scale it down so that it fits. And then we're going to extrude it out. Or inwards. So if you see how it's like a different color of gray, that means the normals are all facing the same way. So select it, press Alt-N and recalculate outside. Now we're going to add some loop cuts and then get rid of the ones we don't need. And then we're going to add in a loop cut so that we can join the 2 edges together. So if you bring this down and then we select 4 of them and press F, that will make a face. So you get something like this. And basically we're going to do the same thing for the other side too. Actually we're going to extrude for this one, just because I wanted to kind of line up a little bit better. So let's extrude down a couple of times. And then now we can join these 2 together. So let's join these edges together. So select both of them, press M, and then join that center. And then we can press Shift R to repeat the last action we did. In this case, it was a merge. So remember, you press M to merge. Let's line it up. And then let's join these 3 together. I didn't join the 4 just because I thought it would be cleaner this way rather than doing the 4. So now we're going to add in loop cuts on this side so that we can join these 2 edges together. Now let's select these 2 edges here and we're just going to extrude like we did on the other side. And while you extrude, keep in mind the vertices. So we're trying to keep the topology quite clean. We're going to go around the shoe like so. Let's add in a loop cut at the bottom here. Something like that. Oh yeah, let me turn on the screencast. I actually forgot. I keep forgetting like every tutorial. I forget to turn it on. So I'm pressing Control and then left clicking to kind of extrude where I want it to go. So we're going to carry on here. So let's add one more there. Just want to extrude going to the left. Let's go all the way down. And then let's add in loop cuts here so that we can join the 2 together. And we can just line it up a little bit. Doesn't have to be perfect. Let's bring in a circle or curve. And then let's select these 2 points and then delete them. Delete vertices because we don't need the whole circle. We only need the left side a little bit. So let's bring that over and then let's scale it along the X using proportional editing. And once it's lined up pretty well, so say we're going to extrude out like so. So we're just going to merge these 2, these 4, sorry. If the recalculate normals doesn't work, then it might have to do something with the geometry. The geometry might not be all aligned basically. So as you can see, this is all the way down. That's why it's not lined up. So what we can do in this case to flatten everything, we can select everything by pressing A and then go SZ0. So scale it along the Z by 0. which will flatten everything, basically put everything at the same level. And then let's just bring this up a little bit, and we might have to join it with the other stripes that we did earlier. Now everything is facing the right way, the normals are alright. We're just gonna kind of tweak this a little bit. Alright, so let's make a new group to kind of organize everything. So let's turn the reference images back on. Like so. And let's select all of them. So let me just move this one back. Let's select all the reference images, press M, make a new collection, and call it as images. Just to kind of keep everything tidied up. Here we go. Now we have a whole group, so we can turn them all off at the same time. So let's turn this to off and just leave the bottom on. So to make the outer edges here, we just want to select this one and then duplicate it there. Duplicating it and just give it better shape. So I'm going to speed that up. There you go. You get something like this, which looks pretty cool. Again, it's not too complicated if you know what you're doing. So yeah, let's extrude this middle part downwards, like on the reference image. So let's just go back into it, edit mode. So select it, edit mode, and then we're gonna select this inner edge. And then E, extrude. Like so. Let me just bring this one down a little bit. And then let's go bring it down along the Z. Something like that, not too much. Let me just pull this edge out a little bit, this vertex. Just make sure it matches the reference image as best as you can. Again, doesn't have to be perfect, but here you go. So let's add a solidify modifier, see how that's looking. So let's go Shift E first of all. Let's add a solidify modifier. Like so. Click even thickness. And let's just play with the thickness. Something like that looks pretty good. There you go. Let's just make sure it's renamed to outsole. Let's go back into the bottom view and now let's make these inner rings here, as you can see. So the way I'm thinking is to probably use a cylinder and curve around. So let's extrude it like so. So this is just a semicircle, we're gonna extrude. So something like this, let's add a bunch of loop cuts in the middle. Control R. Something like that. There you go. And we're just gonna add a curve modifier to it. So with it selected, let's go modifiers, curve, and let's select the curve we added. So eyedropper, select the curve, and then we can move it along the Y, like so. And let's parent this together. So let's parent the curve and the object together by pressing Ctrl P. Like so. Now they're stuck together. And remember, you want to parent the curve to the mesh, not the other way around. There you go. Simply because the mesh is easier to select than the curve. So now, let's rotate this. Let's rotate along the Z 90 degrees. And let's set it up there. So So now when I edit the curve, it should affect the mesh. It should affect this semicircle. Let's try that out. So select the curve, go to edit mode. And then let's see, as you can see. Actually, before we do that, let's just duplicate just so we have another one. Here we go. So select the curve. And we're just gonna follow that curve there. Make sure the curves are facing downwards and the top part is hollow, as you can see. But you get something like this. It looks pretty good. So now let's make this little Nike logo at the bottom here. We're just going to use the plane for that. We're going to bring in the plane, scale it down, extrude it to the right shape, and then add a solidify modifier to it. So you should get something like this. Pretty simple. Let's just bring it down a little bit more. Obviously we don't want it protruding out too much. Let's bring down the reference image so we can see what we're doing. And then let's select it. Let's add a... So let's bring it down a little bit more. And then let's add a solidify modifier to it. As you can see, one side is going up, the other side is going down. So to fix that, we're going to select all of it, press Alt-N, recalculate outside. As earlier, this will recalculate the normals. As you can see, it kind of messed up this side, so we're just going to do the same thing and recalculate inside this time. And there you go, that fixed it. So let's fix the little circle here. If one doesn't work, just try the other one. It will either be recalculate inside or outside. So now let's make kind of like the insole plate almost. So let's go Shift A, let's go to a circle. We're going to add in 2 circles. So let's bring this one over to here. And then Shift D to duplicate, that's going to be the heel. Like so, scale it down maybe a little bit. And then let's scale this inwards, like so. And then we're just going to delete some of the edges that we don't need. So just select 2 and then delete vertices, then press L and then delete them. Make sure you have proportional editing turned on, make your life much easier. And we're just going to extrude and link the 2 sides together. A, select all, come up to object, and then go to grid fill. So you should get something like this. So we're gonna bring it down about halfway. There you go. Now it kind of stops there. It's not just... So now the outsole isn't just hollow, as you can see. It has like a little piece of it. So you can put it onto whatever length you want, whatever position you want it. But I'm gonna leave mine right there. I think that looks pretty good. And we're gonna parent the 2 together. There you go. You should get something like this after a couple minutes. So let's add in the curve. We're gonna use that to kind of bend the outsole up a little bit. So scale it on the X, something like that, a little bit more, just so it's protruding on each side, just a little bit. And let's bring it down, just kind of towards the middle of the outsole. There we go. So you get something like this, something like this. So let's join both the objects together, which looks a little bit better. Something like this. So now we're just gonna add the curve modifier basically once everything's together. So select it, select the curve, bring the curve down a little bit just so it's in the middle like earlier. So let's select the outsole, add a curve modifier, and then let's select the curve and just bring it forward a little bit. Somewhere around there, something like that. Here you go. So now we can just play with the curve and until we get something we like. So let's bring this back part up a little bit. And let's bring this front part up a little bit as well. You can see the shape is already forming. Bring this part down a little bit. There you go. So now let's hide this bottom view. Make sure everything's all good. And we can fix this front area as well. So select the curve. And then let's just pull this down a little bit more. So now let's move up to the midsole. So let's just go bring in a cube. Let's scale that. Let's bring that up a little bit, scale it down. Start the back. So position it around there. And then we can go into edit mode and select this front faces here. It's front edges, I guess. Front faces. And then we're just going to extrude them out. So I'm just pressing Control left click. There you go. You should end up with something similar to this. Let's go into the top view. Again, just so we can line it up. Let's add in a loop cut towards the middle. And we're just going to start moving vertices around, making sure it kind of follows the shape. I did a loop cut by pressing Ctrl R and let's just do the back side now. Again, same thing, adding a loop cut on the left side too. And let's add one here at the back just to give us more vertices to move around. There you go. You should get something like this, as you can see. Just kind of bring it down, make sure it lines up properly. The more time you spend on these kind of little steps, the better the outcome will be. So it's really up to you. So yeah, you should end it with something like this. Look at me, midsole. I don't even know if that's a word. Probably not, but we're gonna go with it. But yeah, it should look something like this basically when you're done with it. Not too complicated, not too bad. So let's rename it. So F2, rename it midsole. Keep everything organized. Make sure to save to you. Don't want to lose your work. So let's go W and shade smooth on the outsole. Now if you go on the object data here, you can play with this normal number until you get something like basically. So let's do the same thing for the midsole, W shade smooth. And I'm gonna play with this number until I get something I like. So as you can see, that's pretty good there. It looks pretty smooth. So we're gonna come up here to this matte cap, and then just pick a matte cap, which will help you see the detail a bit better. So just pick what you like, basically. So I'm gonna go with this one here. So yeah, there you go. It kind of helps you see the little nooks and crannies a little bit better. And that's the end of part 1. Thank you a lot for watching. So if you made it to the end, here's me actually landing that trick that I was trying. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, you know what to do. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Instagram too, just to keep you lot updated. And yeah, I'll see you guys on part 2.
Hey mister, I might give a Glock to my sister, cause it's a dirty world, you can get hurt. Told her enemies to kiss my keys, Hey mister,